Philadelphia Phillies and the Eagles being red hot. Hey, Eagles put up 35 points last night. Okay, Michael Vick, he had 7 rushes for 37 yards. McCoy, what a nice game LaShawn McCoy had. Shady McCoy, 16 rushes, 120 yards. This kid ran it right up the gut. He had 2 touchdowns. What a nice player this kid really turns out to be, and Shady McCoy. But also, we've got to remember something now. Let's not prefabricate all of this, because it was the Detroit Lions they're playing. They didn't play the Cincinnati Bengals or the Baltimore Ravens or any other real good defensive team. This team has a lot of holes in it. They beat them 35-32. A lot of points were scored. Michael Vick was doing a real nice show. Deshaun Jackson had four catches for like 135 yards and a touchdown, giving them good field possession. And they really had a nice game. The Lions, they scored a lot of points, but I think a lot of those points were given up at the end of the game because they had such a big lead. McCoy only had 4 catches for 8 yards. That bothers me. And down the line, they had everyone have like Selleck had 3 catches or Macklin had 3 catches with a TD for you fantasy lovers. They got a lot of people involved. He wound up having a nice game, Michael Vick. And I'll tell you what, you never know. Kevin Cobb could return, and then when he's still doing bad, those people down at the Lincoln Financial, the fans, the paying customers, are going to want Michael Vick in town. And guess what? They're looking to win now. They don't want to hear about rebuilding futures. They don't pay their money to rebuild futures. They're paying their money for winning football. And if you look in their division, that whole division stinks. I thought they were real good. They stink. Dallas is 0-2. They can't beat the Bears at home. They would be ashamed of themselves. Jerry Jones and that stadium he took. New York, the Giants, they got bushwhacked by the Colts. Well, you knew the Colts were going to beat them anyway. We're never going to lose 2 in a row. Washington with a big lead. McNabb throwing some really, he was like 426 yards passing for Donovan McNabb. 28 for 38 with a couple TDs. Has a late lead and gives it up. That's pretty good. Excuse me, you only have 1 TD. But still, 28 for 38 and 426 yards. That's pretty good to me. That's pretty good to me. At this point, let's just go through the Eagles here, and we can recap what they had done in this game. The box score is what we're looking for here. So I'm going to tell you something. This Michael Vick, he can play 7 yards. It's not that Kevin Cobb's better or not. If there's a rush and he has to get out of the rush and he has to take off with his feet or throw his arm, he has a lot of options. Kevin Cobb only has one option, is to throw the ball. He's not a threat to run the ball. He's not a guy, if he's out on the edge, you don't know to pursue him or back off of him because he's going to throw it or run it. So he makes sure his decisions undecisive. An indecision is what he does. Now, here's a game here that, I'm sorry, if everybody bet on this game, they're really got to be sick to their stomachs. With 6:17 to go in the game, the Eagles were running 35-17, and then they let them score 2 more touchdowns. So if you had the Eagles, you're throwing up today, and I know a lot of people are throwing up from that. What a big lead in this! Oh my Lord, oh Lord! Vick's rating was a 108, which isn't bad. 21 for 34 for 284 yards, 61.8%. He got sacked 6 times. That's no good. He had 37 yards rushing. He had 2 touchdowns. Sean Hill was 25 for 45 for 335 yards. He threw a couple touchdowns. He had a couple interceptions. He had sacked twice, and he only lost 6 yards on that. LaShawn McCoy, like I said, 16 rushes, 120 yards, averaging 7.5 a yard. He had 46-yard touchdown play, 3 touchdowns in the game. That's just wonderful. Deshaun Jackson, he had the one end around for 5 yards. This Mike Bell, he had 4 rushes. He didn't gain a yard. Not a yard did he gain. Stinks, to be honest with you. Jarvis Best had a heck of a game for the for the Detroit Lions. He really had a nice game. Deshaun Jackson, like I said, 135 yards, along at 53. He had a touchdown, averaging 33.8 a yard. That guy's a big-time player, big-time receiver, gets the yard, a lot of yards. When he's getting the ball thrown to him, they blanket him as much as they can. And then the numbers really drop way off. Three catches for Event for 33 yards, 3 catches for Selleck for 27 yards, 3 catches for Macklin for 26 yards, but he had a touchdown. Owen Schmidt, 2 for 21. Riley Cooper, 1 for 20. Grant Mills, who's this guy? Someone from General Mills? Grant Mills, never heard of this guy. Whatever, he had 1 for 14. And LaShawn McCoy was 4 catches for 8 yards. That's terrible. So they didn't utilize no one but Deshaun Jackson. And maybe they were trying to sit on the ball because they did have that big lead. And when you have a big lead like that, sometimes you just lay back and you get complacent. But they did score in all 4 quarters. LaShawn McCoy's a nice player. 3 touchdowns for your fantasy lovers. You got to love that. You got your 3 touchdowns. And the Eagles are 1-1. Now, you got to look to see who they're going to play again next week. Because I know week 4, baby, that's a big day in Philadelphia, a big night. Because the Washington Redskins are coming to town. And that's Donovan McNabb.
That's right.
And if he lights up, don't do that, please. If he lights up the Philadelphia Eagles, there's going to be a lot of people in the Lincoln Financial that will throw up. They will throw up. If Kevin Cobb's shown up in this game and he had better have a halfway decent season. Because if McNabb puts up gaudy numbers in Washington, the fans are going to want their hides. They're going to say, we did the wrong thing. We kept the wrong guy. And right now, looking at McNabb and looking at Kevin Cobb, I got to really be honest with you. Doesn't look too good for Kevin Cobb. It looks a lot better for McNabb than it does for Cobb. Now, McNabb didn't blow that game last night. Washington blew it themselves with their defense. He could have been 2-0, even though it was an ugly win about Dallas. But Dallas is just, they're terrible. The Giants, you can see they got a lot of holes. And you can see the Eagles got a lot of holes. That division is definitely up for grabs. There's no way in the world that you can have a clear-cut winner in that division. And the Dallas Cowgirls, I just like it, girls. Okay, you get spanked.